your indoor lacrosse on the Deuce. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge. Tonight, it's the Buffalo Bandits trying to steal a victory from the Boston Blazers.
Last week, the Bandits avenged their championship loss by defeating the Philadelphia Wings 17-13. Player of the game, John Tavares, showed off his MVP muscle with a 5-goal, 2-assist performance. But the man who doesn't always get the headlines is the human vacuum cleaner, Jim Feldman. He gobbled up 12 loose balls, scored twice, and had 4 key assists, proving again he is the foundation of the rock-solid team.
Jimmy's a great defender, great feeder, great loose ball, great leader. Jimmy has it all in his team concept. And that's the kind of person I would build my team around, Jim Veltman.
For the Blazers, the buzzword is confidence. Perhaps the biggest win in this franchise's history was last year's huge 14-10 upset victory against these very same Bandits.
For us to come up to Buffalo and win decisively by 5 and end a 22-game winning streak, send a message across the team that, guess what, guys, you can compete at any level you want in this league.
The man the Blazers hope will pave the way to the championship is former Detroit Turbo Ted Dowling. He knows the key to victory tonight.
When you play Buffalo, you have to look at John Tavares as the main star. But the way to beat Buffalo is you have to get the supporting cast. There's Kilgore and Rich Kilgore, and you have to shut them down.
A lot of young kids here to see their Blazer team take on one of the premier teams in this league. We're at the famed Boston Garden as the Buffalo Bandits take on the hometown Boston Blazers. Two of the key players tonight, Ted Dowling for the Boston Blazers, transplanted from Detroit. He was one of their leading scorers. He led the team last week with 4 goals. How about John Tavares, the big gun? The last 4 times his team beat Boston, he was the MVP 3 of those times. The goalies, Bill Geary starts for the Buffalo team. Marty O'Neill will go for Boston. O'Neill will be wearing a microphone. We'll hear some of the effects of his game. There's Marty O'Neill as he gets set to start. Boston does not have a swapping goalie situation. They want this man to stay in the whole way. You saw that last week. He took a heck of a lot of shots. They need him healthy. Talmo for the Blazers. In the green, we're getting right to the opening faceoff. The Bandits are in the orange and black. The Blazers in the green with the white accents. And we are underway from the Boston Garden. Leaf Elsmo and Christy Lee on the Deuce. Talmo picks it up. This is the defensive line that Frazier will use this year. With the new people in Boston, a lot of new faces, he will use primarily two offensive lines and then 1 defensive line. That was the defensive line that got possession. Now they'll swap some people and get in their offensive unit, and triggering out front, number 18, Randy Frazier. Frazier had a big game last week. 4 goals in the opening win over Baltimore. Now he gives it to Carmine. Carmine down low, looking for the shot. It is a shot, but a save by Geary. Very important for Geary to start off strong. Now the fast break outlet pass by Geary. Picked up or going to boards by, you guessed it, Johnny Tavares. Veltman over to Cordingley, takes a shot. He's wide of the 4 by 4.5. Look at that. Rocked against the boards. Boston knows they have to beat up on this tough Buffalo team. Be very physical. O'Neill takes it down to Donovan. And now they change people again. It has been very difficult to use the system that Frazier's trying to use for Boston. He is using that defensive line. He'll move people in to the defensive end of the field only, and then try to keep certain players like Dowling, like Cronin, on the offensive end. A shot and a goal. He's got rolled. 1-0 Boston. Slow down. Well, the key to this first goal by Schmitz is he starts deep. Look at the rotation against the defense. He comes out because nobody slid back. Nobody slid back to double him on that side. They move the ball behind. Peter Schmitz, the veteran, gets goal number 1, and Boston off to a 1-0 lead. Boston broke the 22-game winning streak of Buffalo last year in Buffalo. So As you heard Frazier talk about in the open, this is really a game that there's a lot of confidence for the opposition. The opposition being Boston, a little bit of an underdog team. They were 4-4 last year, but they've never beaten the Bandits at the Garden. This is their last chance, folks, because this Garden gets torn down at the end of this season. Geary makes a foot stop. Shot clock expires. And right away, Geary gives it to Cochran. But look at him being ragged by Blanchard. This is Roy Condon, head referee, wearing the white helmet. Distinctive because of that. And you'll hear him throughout the game, too. He's wearing a wireless mic, and he'll give us some of the action from down on the field. Here comes Randy Frazier, looking for rope. Big save by Geary. Left shoulder up and to the hole. Geary gave him a target and then took it away at the last moment. That has been a little bit of a weak spot for this team from Boston. The fact that they haven't finished their shots over the last few years. Big save by O'Neal. O'Neal makes that save. Again, he has to go the whole way. Very flashy-looking helmet. This is Les Bartley with his crew. Ron Frazier, the coach of Boston. Again, 1-0 lead for a team in Boston that's very confident that they can beat Buffalo. Dowling comes in trying to go against a double team. They like Dowling to work down low and come around if he doesn't get picked up, much like Schmidt did. Oh, there's a rebound shot. And he's got rope. Dowling gives Boston a 2-0 lead. That'll be referee's timeout. Geary could be shaking. One of the biggest stories in this game could be the goalie situation. We've got Geary in the game, Cowie on the sideline. Buffalo has SWAT goalies. Can they do it with success tonight? 2-0 lead on the goal from Dowling. We'll be back to the Garden in just a moment.
Major Indoor Lacrosse League Game of the Week on ESPN2 is brought to you by Bud Light, the best-selling light beer in America. And by Brine, the first name in lacrosse equipment and apparel.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Boston Garden. This one's starting off great for Boston. They are out to a 2-0 lead. And let's take a look at some of the movers and shakers on these two squads. We talked about the heroes, but how about Tommy Carmine for Boston against Buffalo in the win last year? He gets 1 goal, 7 assists. In the loss, he only gets 0 goals, no assists, so he has to have a big game for them to be in this one. But they are off to a 2-0 lead. How about Troy Cordingley? Last year in the loss, he gets no goals on 7 shots. When they win against this team in Boston, he gets 4 goals, 4 shots. Cordingley could be the key for the team in Buffalo. But the story well may be in the goal. Holy Cowie. Ross Cowie normally starts the games. They share goalies for Buffalo. But Cowie was that bad first game. He had a bad season championship last year. He was yanked last week, so he's a little shaky mentally. Geary came in last week. Geary starts tonight. What will the mental condition of Cowie be if he has to save his team tonight? We'll find out, because right now it's a 2-0 lead for Boston, and that switch in the goal could be just moments away. Normally for Buffalo, there's a 3-goal rule. After 3 goals, they want to make some kind of change to break the momentum. Boston, a lot of great athletes on this team. Here comes Stevens down, looking for the trailing player, and it's Francis. Sebastian on the trailing side of the play, along with Tavares. Looks like they'll both go to the box. First 3 face-offs in this game, won by Boston. Talmo has taken all 3. Obviously, possessions are key. It's something that Buffalo uses to their success time and time again. Possessions lead to great offense. Now we're going to see Stevens come down. And behind that whole play is really what happened where Tavares was mixing it up with Sebastian. It was way back at the play, back by O'Neal. But the referees picked up on it. They both will go to the box.
Buffalo, penalty number 11.
And again, the 3-goal system is usually what Les Bartley uses. Will he yank Geary if they get a 3-goal advantage? He likes to try to change the momentum. Somehow Frazier in tight, but Geary makes a fabulous glove save. He's a blocker, and he made one there. Now back up top. This is 5-1-4. O'Neal with a delayed penalty. O'Neal's out of the game. They're bringing in yet another player, because right now they're 4-4, but with just one more player in, delayed penalty, it's 5 against 4 in favor of Boston. Shot comes off of the face mask of Geary, or the chest protection. Boston did a nice job of pulling O'Neal off the field on the delayed call. They got their 5th attacker in there.
1-6 roughing. You got 4-3. 16 roughing.
All right, Rich Kilgore, 16 for Buffalo. As we look at Roy Condon, he goes to the box, and he will join Tavares. Now power play for Boston. Christie on the sideline.
Well, thank you, Lee. The power play situation is something that Boston Blazers definitely are in favor of. They are leading this game 2-0, and that last time out, Rod Frazier told his team, stick with our game plan, be selective on offense, be tough on defense, and of course they're doing quite well at that. Pick and rolls, look for a lot of them. Boston plans to run this Buffalo team to the ground.
And Christie, one of the things that could work in Buffalo's favor is shorthanded goals. We almost saw one there, big save by O'Neal, but Boston allowed 2 shorthanded goals against Baltimore. Buffalo really can pick teams clean when they are short a man. We almost saw it a minute ago. Now it's still 4-on-3 in favor of Boston. They have a man advantage, but they're not pushing for possession. 18 seconds left in the shot clock. Stu Aird comes down against Francis, and right into the chest protection of O'Neal. Now, Aird will have to either come down quickly or get off the field. He comes back and resets with a man short position. It's 4 against 3. Dowling, number 19, down low. Such a quick release Dowling has. You saw him score already on a rebound shot. Carmine over to the wing. It's Chuck takes a hard shot into the protection right into the chest pad of Geary. Geary has looked pretty sharp. They've gotten 2 shots in close on him, but when he has had a chance to really read the shot, Geary has looked good. I think that'll be part of the decision that Les makes. Les knows he's playing pretty strong in there. His defense has to give him a little bit of a chance. Right there, the shot right in his face. Carmine came in 4-on-3. You really can't go out and gamble too much. They've got to let that outside shot go, and Geary has been able to gobble up. Les Bartley looking on the sideline, a little bit concerned. His team's down 2-0. 9:50 left in the first quarter. Leaf and Christie on the deuce. Our second week of action in the mill. Accordingly, now looking for help behind him. He's getting checked pretty hard by Sebastian, who is now out of the box. Only Rich Kilgore remains in the box. They are still down a man, but Sebastian is out, and so is Tavares. Accordingly now, he'll reset. There's a man advantage for Boston with 4 seconds left on the shot clock. They won't even get a shot off as the ball comes back to Aird. He couldn't get it. Shot clock violation, and with 9:25 left in the quarter and 5 seconds left on the penalty. In a moment, Rich Kilgore. You heard Roy Condon getting charges and things, and he gives it back to Buffalo. Trying to feed it into Beltman, but picked off beautifully. Here comes Carmine, who really sniffed that one out. Dowling takes a shot and finds Rowe. Geary stunned by the offense of Dowling, who has 2 goals, and Dowling came flying out of the box. That's where he got that advantage of 5 yards. He was playing offense only and rips it into the corner. Dowling was not playing on the field. He was substituted for it and came flying out. This is a Buffalo trick that Boston is using to their advantage. And look how he hits that corner right in the rope. 3-0. Boston lead at the Garden in the first quarter. 6:35 left. 3-0. The Blazers lead. The Blazers are the only team other than Philadelphia that has beaten Buffalo in regular season play in the last 2 years. They stopped that 22-game winning streak in Buffalo. Dowling moving the ball back. Schmitz
behind the net.
all the way across the Dowling. He picks it up. Quick feet in front, and the man is in the crease. That's right. Robinson got the ball in great position. Push call against Ciccone. They'll get a fresh 30-second shot clock. And here comes a new player, Veltman, for the defense of Buffalo. The Blazers now reload a fresh 30-second shot clock. This is Chuck from Hopkins, a very smart player. Schmitz, just as heady and smart. These are 2 veterans that don't make too many mistakes against the defense of Buffalo. Buffalo looking to get some offensive possession. They haven't had much possession time. And here's the vacuum cleaner finally coming up with that loose ball that really starts the possession. Cochran runs away from the boards, but a lot of new faces come in as Frazier puts in these defensive specialists. That's been the key to the win against Baltimore. In close, Hamley, and a follow-up. They've got Rowe. Buffalo came in, scored on O'Neal, and O'Neal is a very emotional player. Randy Frazier, liking what he sees so far, doesn't want this momentum to go away.
Always good to push it, nothing else. Okay.
So I don't see a goal on the board right now.
In the crease, he was trying to come out and make contact. See the ball.
There's a shot. The follow-up from Cochran comes in, and they give him that goal. So Cochran gets the first goal for Buffalo. And O'Neal, watch how emotional O'Neal is. O'Neal makes the first block. He backs it back out. Cochran's in the right spot. Now Cochran gets nailed. Cochran goes into O'Neal, and that's where the brawl started. One of the biggest fights of the season last year started with Marty O'Neal in Buffalo, where both benches emptied. But he is an emotional player. You saw him come out of the goal to make that hit on Cochran. He values that crease area, protects it with a vengeance. 3-1. Boston still leads, but Buffalo gets their first goal with 5 left in the first quarter. Boston has had tremendous control on offense. They're taking their time on the 30-second shot clock. It's down to 1. They won't get it. They don't. They've been taking their time, but getting the shots for the most part. They've had 2 or 3 shot clocks expire on them. But they've gotten some good offensive shots and well-orchestrated offense. Dowling, Schmitz have scored from behind, down and close. Dowling scored on a rebound shot. Dowling scored on a fast break out of the box. Stu Aird looks inside for the Cunning players as they work out pick and roll on the far side. And Veltman gets goal number 2. It's a 3-2 game. Boston still leads, but there are 4 minutes, 37 seconds left in the first quarter. Veltman brings his team back to within 1. We'll be back to the Boston Garden in just a moment. Back to the faceoff that has been controlled until this point by Talmo, but finally Veltman gets the loose ball. That first line is in there. Rich Kilgore was facing off against Talmo, but here comes Boston. Buffalo did not get a shot off on that possession. 4:20 left, first period. Boston with a 3-0 lead initially. 2 straight goals now for Buffalo. We've got a game. Still Boston in the lead. Buffalo playing big defense against Talmo, the defensive specialist, as he took a shot. Here comes Stewie Aird. Aird looks for the trailing player. He's got a Veltman far side. Comes into the cylinder. Big shoulder save by O'Neal and a follow-up shot by Tavares. How does he do it? Johnny T on his back puts in the tying goal. O'Neal stunned. He'll make the first block when Aird. Aird comes in, O'Neal makes the block, and it'll come out. Watch Tavares. Comes around and a backhanded shot on the loose ball. Key to the success of Buffalo is getting those rebounds, getting the loose balls. And again, the faceoff controlled by Buffalo. The first 2 faceoffs they've won, that was Batley, the rookie, who came in there and controlled that one 3-3. The game's all tied. 2 runs of 3. Boston had the first 3 goals to take the lead. A give and go inside the Squires. He couldn't control, and Dowling does. And then it was Buffalo who came back to score 3 straight goals. That's where we are right now. Here's fast break. Carmine! And a defensive check by Batley. The rookie looks sensational. He's got great size, Batley does. He's number 15 for Buffalo in the orange and black. Batley was an All-American at UMBC in Maryland. Ontario kid, an accountant by trade. Rosa in close, tried to get to Cochran. The defensive check, shot clock down to 8. Batley looks up front, gets Cochran. Cochran cannot control the ball. Beautiful feed by Batley. Here comes Carmine. Carmine, the backbone of this team. Well, they beat Buffalo last year. The graphic earlier in this quarter shows you that he had 7 assists. He's a distributor of offense. He can shoot as well. But he's a catalyst. Ball loose. You can see Buffalo coming a little more first on the defensive end. Holds the ball. And with 2:40 left, score tied at 3. Boston gets a fresh 30-second shot clock. Offenses have been similar for both teams so far. 2 sides, Blanchard and Geary with a big save. They'll put 2 guys on one side, 3 on the other. They work pick and rolls from usually the 2 side, and that's what they've been working for Boston, although Boston had a nice rotation early on. You hear Roy Condon talk about nothing stupid. That is the referee trying to get things calmed down. Again, here's that rotation offense. Down to Frazier. That was the 3 side they were working. Frazier now being checked by Cochran. Randy Frazier, 4 goals in the opener against Baltimore. This is the coach's son. He is a top player. Shot clock down to 5. That's why Randy Frazier had to turn and fire. Geary has looked very strong. The goals they've scored have been goals that were on fast break situations or right in his face. Dowling scored on a rebound shot. Dowling scored on a fast break from the bench. Beautifully played shot. And Schmidt scored coming from behind with no defensive slide. But lately it's been Buffalo, 3 straight goals. Here comes Brian Hall. Hall into the cylinder and gets a big save from O'Neal. Push was the call on Cronin.
Pushing against the Blazers. All the way out. All the way out. First team. All the way out.
They'll go ahead and give it back to Buffalo. Brian Hall. Bear Henry takes a shot wide of the net. And here comes the offense led by Donovan for Boston. The defense is already set for Buffalo as they get back in place. I think Buffalo may have been a little shocked at the speed and the efficiency of Boston getting the ball down the field early in the fourth quarter. 1:13 left. All tied at 3. Boston with a 3-0 lead. Here comes Dowling before Buffalo got their 3. Here comes Kennan, comes up front, rotating against the defense. Dowling gets that quick stick off. He just redirects the shot. Watch out. There's a rocky defensive push, not called. Shot clock down to 0, and that would be a shot clock violation giving it to Buffalo. But good shots by Boston. Buffalo knowing that they have to play exceptional defense against a team that, well, didn't shoot with great efficiency until this year. Face to face tonight. Tavares, 1 goal, Dowling 2. We talked about how important they are to their respective offenses. They are the guys tonight. Janchuk with a fast break. So it's Aaron Stevens, but a big sweeping save by Geary. 30 seconds left in the quarter. Shot clock at 25. They'll try to hold for the last shot, but there's one now. They give it back to Buffalo. Not good shot clock management. They're going to give Buffalo a shot where they didn't have to. Accordingly, now comes down. He's got Kilgore right there, and Kilgore could not handle the behind-the-back pass. So he gives it back up to Boston. 10 seconds. Carmine can't pick it up because Stuyard knocked it down. 5-4. And the first quarter's almost history, except Carmine and Tavares with a check from behind to save the shot. The biggest defensive play of the first quarter by Johnny Tavares. And the first quarter is history. 3-3, Boston Buffalo. We'll be back with quarter number 2 in just a moment.
Go to your bench.
Players on the field for Buffalo, or for, yes, Buffalo, and then Boston only 4, but Boston will try to eat up that whole 30-second shot clock. It's down to 10 right now, 11-10, now 10-9. They'll try to use it all and get a shot off possibly, but they don't want the transition to go the other way. They know they're at the man's advantage. 4, 3, the shot clock counting down. Now they'll just dump the ball into the corner. What they did effectively was take off 30 seconds from that power play. Now they'll reset the house offense against a diamond D. Look at the way they set up in a diamond for Boston. 4 players in a diamond. Here's Hamley with a shot and a big shoulder save by O'Neal. Trying to get it to Veltman or a cutting Hamley. Accordingly down low. Here comes Hamley to Accordingly. No angle. He dumps it over the shoulder of O'Neal. That was the book on O'Neal. Buffalo wanted to fake low because he likes to drop to his knees and go high. Cornley did a beautiful job. He faked low, and he goes high. Watch this. Fake it low, go up high, boom. That makes it 4-3. Buffalo leads for the first time.
Continue to do that. We got to come up with those loose balls at our end. Good job, Billy. Keep coming up with them loose. Way to work. Let's bring it in, man. Come on. Let's go.
Les Bartley getting his guys geared up. I tell you what, I guarantee he was shocked by this team. They got a 3-0 lead. They were out running and gunning. But Buffalo has scored 4 straight goals to take their first lead of the game. Down by 3, they maintain composure. And that's one thing they have. If you look at the sidelines of both teams, you see Buffalo sitting down, a lot of composure. This man's team, the Boston team, that's O'Neal. They're standing up. They're at the front of the box. A lot of composure on the Buffalo sideline, and that has reflected itself in the offense. Here comes Stratone, and a big sweeping save, the windshield wiper save by O'Neal. Off the fast break. Boy, what a swinging fast break. Initially, it was all Calvo. He got the first 4, but I think the last 4 have been collected by Buffalo. That one almost turned itself into a goal. Teams all even, 5-on-5, as Boston reloads the offense. This is Robinson. Pick and roll, tries to get far side. There's a shot by Cap and a redirect by Chanenchuk. In the crease call before the push by Ciccone. Now you'll see Buffalo cleared always away from the benches. Les Bartley really starting to command his troops. This is the team who won 2 North American Cups before being beaten by Philadelphia last year in their 3rd year of operation in Buffalo. A model of success, the Buffalo Bandits. 1 goal lead, 11-21. That's the kind of rug burn you'll get on this surface. AstroTurf, not ice. Push ball goes back to Buffalo. They have the 1 goal lead. Batley now fakes like he gives it off to Laub. Laub did not fake like he had it. There's a hidden ball trick that's very effective in this league, but you need both players to work on it. Fresh people in as they try to get it down to Laub. That ball bounced way off the boards by Johnston. Young kid, really a bad pass, and he gives the ball right back to Boston. Fresh people come in as the defensive specialists go off, and the offense comes on for Ron Frazier's Boston Blazers. That's Cronin giving it up to the middle to Carmine. This is the leader, folks, number 45. Tommy Carmine, tremendous player, great feeder, great vision on the field, tremendous athlete, not very thick in the muscle department, but as wiry and as tough as they come. Break for the Bandits coming down the far side. Brian Hall gets wrapped, but it's Bear Henry. Henry's a 3-year veteran, I think the 3rd year now for Buffalo. Now the ball goes to Laub, and he cannot hit an open net. Laub had an open 18 square feet and couldn't get it. O'Neal came out to hit him, didn't get the ball out of the stick. That ball rockets off the shoulder pad of Geary. The next shot comes off of Johnston, the defender. Now, Dowling, all by himself, he's got goal! Dowling gets his 2nd goal, his 3rd goal of the night, but his 2nd rebound shot. This ball comes loose. I call that a rebound, but it was really a loose ball, and then he takes it into the goal. This will be a hat trick for Dowling as he picks it up, makes 1 fake against Johnston, leads right into the crease to the far pipe, and beats Geary. Ted Dowling, hat trick already. We've got 9:40 left in the 2nd period. The score is tied at 4, and Ted Dowling has been the offense for Boston. What an acquisition he has been from Detroit. Talbot started off the game. This is accordingly coming into the crease push. Buffalo gets the ball back, and Christy Lee on the sideline.
Just a quick observation about Marty O'Neal. Earlier, before the game started, I heard that the Buffalo Bandits were going to try to do a little instigating of Marty O'Neal. We all know he's kind of got a little bit of a temper. They like to fake low and shoot high on Marty, kind of get him off of his game. We saw an earlier incident with Marty and Bob Hamley. Will we see more? Only time will tell, Lee.
Well, Christy, you bring up a good point. We talk about the emotional aspect. They know he's emotional, and believe me, they don't want him out of the game. There's really nobody of his caliber behind him in Boston's lineup. O'Neal picks that one up. So you're going to see more than just the fake low, shoot high. I think you're going to see a lot of people following in there and knocking him down if they can. Loose balls dominated by the Boston Blazers, and that is probably the biggest reason why they have that 4 goals and at one point had a 3-goal lead. Shot from the left-hander's position. Now Tavares, it's a fast break. Johnny T looking for Rome. Big save by the glove hand of O'Neal. Monster save by O'Neal, who was one-on-one with Johnny T. Tavares could not put it away. Chanenchuk's got one on the far side. That one comes in, trying to find Dowling again. Dowling hangs around the crease to try to get it to him. He is excellent with that quick shot, getting off one when you don't think he's got a shot. Here comes Veltman. He's got a trailing player. Air comes in, and a big check by Randy Frazier. What a check to take the shot away from Stewie Aird. It was a fast break. It was Tavares to Veltman to Aird. Now it's Frazier. Frazier looking for a trailing player, and there's a defensive check by Cochran on Cronin. Now they'll reload this Boston offense. All tied at 4. 8 minutes left. 2nd quarter. Leaf and Christie on the deuce. Major indoor lacrosse league action. Randy Frazier gets checked in the head, and there will be a whistle. Whoa, moving pick is the call. Right before the check to his face mask, a moving pick is called. We'll take a timeout on the field. 7 minutes, 49 seconds left. All tied at 4 in Boston. A lot of cuts on the legs of this team from Boston because they are hustling. Right now, 4-4 the score. Boston in the green and white against Buffalo. We've got 3:50 left in the first half, but it's all tied at 4, as I mentioned, and Boston really has done a great job of controlling the tempo of this game. Now they are extra. They have a power play 5-on-4. Carmine is the power play captain, and he gets it into Blanchard. They crease the defense, and they beat Geary. That's what you want to do, exactly. Get it down in front of the goalie. Watch how they open up Blanchard. He'll be right to the left of your screen in the middle. Look, the defense leaves him. He's wide open. That was a defensive mismatch. When you let that guy get inside, Blanchard can't stand it. He loves it. He now gives his team a 5-4 lead. Buffalo is playing a box and just let him sneak inside. That lower guy's got to protect that shot. Didn't happen. 5-4 now. Boston, the power play goal, leads by 1. Hamley masters it. He's got ropes. Hamley on transition, and O'Neill a little mad at himself, but that was a Buffalo goal that looks like Buffalo of old. They get a transition from Laub to Hamley, and they go backside on O'Neill. Watch O'Neill try to get big to fill it up. Laub draws the defense, gives off to Hamley, left hand to a sprawling O'Neill, and Hamley just got it inside the pipe, tying it at 5. Those 2 goals were scored within 20 seconds of each other. And now Boston controls the faceoff. Shannon Chuck. Tied at 5. Laub playing defense. Laub has looked very good for the team from Buffalo. Last week against Philadelphia, Laub had a goal. They played tough in that third line. Shannon Chuck gets checked from behind by Hamley. Hamley playing with a big knee brace on his right knee, number 28 is. Les Bartley barking out to the troops. 2:35 left. Shot clock down to 20. Bounces it off to Johnny Tavares, who's really frustrated. That shot off the iron. Whoa. Scorekeeper Springer was shaking on the old red light switch. Push called on Schmitz against Tavares. Ron Fraser wants certain people to be playing against Johnny T. So far, they've held him down pretty good. But the guy who's really made a difference against Tavares has been that man with the ball, Marty O'Neill. He has stopped him on 2 fast breaks, and that is saying something. Tavares is a great finisher. All knotted up. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Boston doing a great job of matching Buffalo at what they do best, and that is transition. Boston changes a little bit slower now with the shot clock down to 2. 1. They don't get a shot. And that was because of the slow changes. They took too much time getting people in and out. They've got defensive specialists. They've got offensive people. If you don't get them in and out quickly, you don't have time to get the shot off. They've had 5 shot clock violations so far. But still, the score is tied. Accordingly, gets pushed. And he rockets that goal back about 5 feet, but a push ball gives it back to Buffalo. Fresh shot clock, 30 seconds with 1:30 left. Frazier very calm, very cool. Ronnie Frazier was an All-American at Syracuse. He's in the Hall of Fame at Long Island, and he's also in the Hall of Fame of the National Lacrosse Foundation in Maryland. He was an excellent player, rocket shot himself, and his son Randy plays in this team. Carmine against Batley. Batley looking for help. The pick and roll inside. Cochran wasn't open. Batley still holding the ball too long. Takes a shot from out front. Easy push. All right. Slash call number 4. And delayed call. They still had 12 seconds left. Really wasn't a great shot. When you have a delayed call, you want to get a better shot on the pipe. Batley just took a kind of weak shot from out front. I'm sure that doesn't make Bartley happy. But Cronin, the young kid, goes into the box. Cronin has made an impact. And look at Talmo. Buffalo's man up. 1 goal and 1 attempt. This is their second try at it. And score all tied at 5 with 1 minute left. This would give them a lead going into the halftime. They want to get a big shot. They rotate now. Tavares up top. Tavares now takes the left-handed shot. Down low, and a slam dunk by Cordingley. Beautifully done. It was all Tavares. Tavares set it up beautifully. Cordingley finishes that shot, but it was Tavares who got the attention of O'Neal. O'Neal kicking himself now, but watch Tavares. He gets all the attention as it goes down. It'll come back to Tavares. O'Neal's looking at him. The ball goes down to O'Neal's right, and he can't cover the distance. Again, O'Neal's now moving out to Tavares. He goes back door to Cordingley. Slam dunk from there. That was worked to perfection. 6-5. Buffalo now leads for the second time in this game. 51 seconds left in the half. Cordingley, big goal. When he had the 4 goals against Boston last year, 3 of those 4 goals were on a power play. So Cordingley, a little deja vu. He can't pick it up cleanly. Sebastian comes out to get him. The All-American from New Hampshire tries to take him into the boards. Loud. A full cylinder in front of him. Shot clock to 5. They got to get one off. 4, 3. There's one. Bounce off of the defense. And they will not maintain possession. Boston now will get a chance to take a shot. They have 20 seconds left.
7. That way, right there. He threw it in the corner. 7.
The league calling this a lot tighter this year. Derek Laub pushed the ball into the corner to try to buy himself some time for his team, and delay of game was called against Derek Laub. So that was a tragic mismanagement of the ball, because now Bartley has to go man down for the last 20 seconds. 2-minute penalty against Laub. 20 seconds in the half. Carmine now will load it up. Frazier. They've now a 2-1-2. 2-1-2. Here comes Frazier. Bounced off the stick of Kilgore. 6 seconds left. That'll take away any opportunity to score. Big defense by Kilgore against the 2-1-2 offensive set. Time expires.
No way. Yeah. You got an official right next to you.
All right, time expires. No, 1:27 left. It hasn't expired.
Is that over and back?
Hold on. Timeout Green. Timeout called by Boston with 1.7 seconds left. We'll come back to see if they can do anything in 1.7. Stay with us. We're back at the Garden. 1.7 left. It's an extra man, a power play for Boston, but can they get a shot off in less than 2 seconds? They're down by 1. Here's Carmine. He rockets it way out, but Veltman picks it up, and that'll end the first half. When they come back for the second half, Derek Laub will go back to the box. He'll be in the sin bin for another minute and 40 seconds, but Buffalo has the lead. They were down by 3. It was 3-0 Boston, and from that point on, it was Buffalo who got a 4-3 lead and now a 6-5 lead. A slim lead, but a lead nonetheless. Let's go down to Christy Lee on the sideline with one of the leaders, Peter Schmitz.
Thank you very much, Leif. I am joined by Peter Schmitz, kind of a veteran of this Boston Blazer ball club. Well, you guys came out of the box real quick, scored a couple of goals on Buffalo, and now things have been close. 6-5 is the lead by the Bandits, but are you happy so far with the first half?
Well, I think they're beating us to the ground balls because I think we need to pick it up a little bit on that respect.
What about Marty O'Neal? He's playing an outstanding game.
Yeah, we can't fault Marty at all. We got to get back on defense. They've got a lot of 2-on-1s against us, and we talked about that before the half, and I think we're going to talk about it again this half.
Yeah, what about your firewall defense? Actually, it seems to be working pretty well. Like, got Les Bartley a little shook up over there.
Yeah, well, we've got 5 strong, probably 5 of the strongest defensive guys in the league, and when they want to play, they can. Hopefully they'll pick it up a little bit the second half and really shut down Tavares and company.
Well, thank you very much, Peter Schmitz, and we'll be back in just a second with more live lacrosse action. As we get going in our halftime segment, though, we would like to remind you that we will have the first half stats with Leif Elsmo. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about the game of lacrosse and explain to you a little bit about the goalie and the crease and the rules and tools.
Time for the rules and tools of the mill. Brought to you by Old Spice High Endurance Deodorant and alcohol-free sensitive aftershave. The crease rules are primarily for the protection of the goalie. The crease is this white line that's a 9-foot radius from the midpoint of the goal. And no offensive player can step in here. Defensive players can run through. But once either offense or defense gets possession of the ball, this is no man's land. The goalie can make a save. Now he has possession. He gets 4 seconds to either get rid of the ball or get out of the crease.
Welcome back back to the Boston Garden. Christy Lee along with Lee Felsmo. Major Indoor Lacrosse League coming at you in your face. First half, the Buffalo Bandits lead the Boston Blazers 6-5. We have seen some incredible action here tonight. It ain't over yet, folks. As you probably already noticed, the Buffalo Bandits are pretty good in the offense department. In fact, we're going to show you a little bit about their offensive patterns right now in Lacrosse the Board and the house offense. Lacrosse the Board, the inside strategy to indoor lacrosse. The Buffalo Bandits have one of the most potent offenses in the league. That's because of what they call the house offense, a formation used on the power play. The players are placed in perfect attack position as they face the goalie. Check out the formation. That's the left attack in the upper right-hand corner. The shooting forward, go across the crease to your power forward, up to your right attack man, and then across to the center. Kind of like the point guard in basketball. Together, they shape a house. This offense works because it makes it difficult to defend and allows for the best passing lanes, creating open shots like this goal by Jim Beltman. The house offense has worked perfectly tonight here for the Buffalo Bandits. As you are going to see, Troy Cordingley knows how to get the job done with this backdoor goal right here on Marty O'Neill. Tavares to Cordingley, and he scores. We may see more of that in the second half. We'll have that action along with stats and the shot chart with Lee Felsmo and the Bud Light halftime report coming up next.
Welcome back to the Bud Light halftime report. Well, we're in Boston. It has been Boston's show early on, but right now Buffalo leads by 1. Lee Felsmo and Christy Lee. We're getting set for the second half, but first let's take a look at the stats from the first half. The big number here is loose balls. Look at Boston, a commanding lead, 65-43, beating Buffalo at their own game. But the most important stat, goals, the slim lead for Buffalo. Shot chart tells the story itself. Buffalo now shooting a lot right in the face of O'Neill. 13 shots, 2 goals. The 5 goals scored from very close range. 2 goals, if you look to the left, those were backdoor goals by Cordingley. Key to the game. For the Blazers, they've been getting also a lot of shots in the red zone. 13 shots, 2 goals. Also 5 goals from in close on Geary. It's been great offense from both teams. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. Tonight's game has been brought to you in part by Millman Licensed Apparel. Just call 913-384-8960 for your brochure. We're back to the Boston Garden. Lee Felsmo, Christy Lee on the deuce. Buffalo, a 6-5 lead. And you're hearing Roy Condon, head referee. As the faceoff now controlled by Talmo. You see his leg heavily bandaged. He controlled faceoff early on, but he got that bad burn, and a faceoff now controlled, but then given to Dowling on the fast break. We're watching Dowling on the fast break. Buffalo, Dowling open net, off the iron. He bounces one off the pipe. Now Beltman. Dowling has been sensational coming out of the box on the fast break. Here's Tavares. O'Neill has been putting shots right back in the face of Tavares. 2 fast breaks turned away by O'Neill. Slim 6-5 lead. Stevens against Johnny T. Tavares takes a shot way out in front. Easy save by O'Neill. Dowling came down and opened this half up. Watch Dowling with an open net. He leans back. This was moments ago and tries to get a shot off. Look at that, 18 square feet. What a terrible bad luck shot by him off the iron in an empty net waiting for his goal. But now Buffalo still controls the ball and the lead of the game. 6-5, Cordingley in close. He's got rope. A new wrinkle for Buffalo. They were opening up the offense, controlling the ball out front. They gave a player, it happened to be Cordingley this time, a free lane to break. Watch how open it is inside. Cordingley takes off, gets inside that lane, and beats O'Neill. Beltman started up top with that. They really pulled the offense wide and waited for one player to crash down inside, being his defender. The defense for Buffalo, or for Boston, has been so aggressive. I think Les wanted to pull that aggressive defense out and then beat him to the goal. It worked beautifully. A 7-5 lead, the first 2-goal lead for Buffalo. Cordingley gets his 3rd goal of the game. I'll tell you what, folks. I forgot to let you know that they are starting this second half a man down.
What do you got?
So let me reset on that last goal. That's why they were wide.
Whoa. 2 minutes delay. 11. 11 what color? 11 orange. It's still a foul. 2 minutes. 11 flag. It's a serving foul. It's a delaying game and illegal stuff.
Pardon me, can't believe it. But let me reset the first few moments for you. Christy Lee, first of all, you can feed us some information. Sideline, Christy Lee.
Thank you very much. We want to talk with assistant coach Steve Conley real quick. Steve, first of all, let's talk about what you told your team at halftime.
Well, basically, we told them we're playing a real sound ball game. Made a couple mistakes. We overcommitted on defense a couple of times. Our shot selection on offense, we have to be a little bit more patient. We're not running the pick and roll as effectively as we have in other games.
What about the loose ball situation? Your team doing a great job in the loose ball category.
Well, we're trying to. We're trying to send one man on the ball and one man in position to be in a backup.
Thank you very much. Assistant coach Steve Conley for the Boston Blazers. Accordingly, of course, just scored, and they're down by 2, but they're going to hope to turn that around here in the third quarter.
5 on 3 right here. Look who's hot. Courtney with a hat trick. Dowling with 3. We talked about them at the head of the show. Now, situation right now, Laub comes in a moment, but right now it's 5 against 3. Boston has a 2-man advantage for 3 seconds. Condon's going to restart this because for 3 seconds, Boston gets a 5-on-3 advantage. Look at the controlled sideline for Buffalo. When we come back, it'll be a fast break. Oh, no, a power play opportunity for the Blazers. 5 against 4. Defenders for Buffalo. Beltman, Kilgore, Laub, and Stuer down low. This is Carmine up top. Frazier down low. That's a shooting position for the right-hander. Blanchard now up top looking for Dowling. In front, Frazier looks for the right-handed shooter. He can't pick it up. That's Cronin, number 4. Push call. They're going to get it back to Boston. Wasn't much of a push. Bartley looks very calm. This team with a 2-goal lead. The first 2-goal lead in the game for them. Carmino reload. 1:10 left on the penalty. We are only 3 minutes into the second half. Buffalo has scored already. They scored short-handed. They've been down this whole half. Blanchard up top to Carmine. Carmine all the way down left-hander. That's Dowling. Boy, can he get the shot off quickly. Carmine now reloads. 50 seconds left. Carmine looking low for Cronin. That's Cronin back up to Frazier. Now they're going to a little rotation. They're in a 2-1-2. Here comes Frazier up top, and he whistles that one. 5-hole. He's got rope. The team swapped goals. Both goals scored when Boston was a man up. They allow a shorthanded goal by Cordingley, and now they score 5-on-4. Watch again how Frazier comes up and just whistles that baby low right in the old 5-hole, way out in front. Just puts a lot on it, and a little bit of a bounce brings it up over the stick and between the legs of Geary. Face-off given to Talmo because Buffalo did not get their substitutions in there fast enough. Now it's a 1-goal game again. That's exactly how the half started. I was making the call early on without telling you that they were down. Buffalo started the half a man down, and they scored short-handed. Down out front. Shot was deflected by the defender's stick. And now here's Geary looking away from the benches as how Buffalo brings it up. Dwyer now. Oh, he's hit from behind by Dowling. That's a delayed penalty by Dowling. Henry, rather. Henry gets the penalty from Dowling. They'll get a shot before Dowling will spend time in the box. Buffalo with a chance to get a good shot off. In close, Tavares cannot beat the goalie O'Neal. Tavares again. 3 shots in the face of O'Neal. He's had all of them. Saved.
Green, 19 roughing, 2 minutes.
Good look at O'Neal.
It is not. Hey. All right, we'll give you time on if you'd like to discuss
Watch
it.
O'Neal coming up behind Henry. He just hammers him from behind. Dowling, rather. Dowling comes up. Penalty on Ted. He has done his share tonight. Tremendous offensive force, and that's what Frazier's using him for. Mostly all offense. Get him off the field for defense. 5 against 4. They were playing a diamond early on. They still stay in that diamond. Back door's open. They go 2 positions. They went from Cordingley to Tavares, but But Tavares is really having a tough time getting it past O'Neal. Back to Veltman, back to Cordingley. Now they'll reset. 1:40 left, shot clock at 26, a fresh shot clock. Tavares cannot beat O'Neal. That's a big story in itself. Game very close at 7-6, but 3 big saves from right in the face of O'Neal. That was the 4th one that time.
Get out of my way. Straight up and down in the pitch.
Kilgore down to Cordingley in the middle. Veltman can't beat him. Here comes Tavares, and another save by O'Neal. Boy, he makes it look easy.
Both ways. Both ways.
And O'Neal, you might have heard him say, get out of the way. That was his mic. We've got a mic. He doesn't say much, but that time he was barking orders to his defense. Backcourt violation. A minute left on the penalty, a fresh 30-second shot clock. Now Buffalo line up. They've had 2 great shots, but O'Neal has come up big both times. They've got a 1-goal lead, 10 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Trying to get it over to Rich Kilgore. Whoa, he can't handle the ball. This is tough. Cordingley comes up to give him some help getting the ball, loose ball. All the way across to Kilgore, into the middle to Tavares, who is wrapped up by Stevens.
Paulie behind you.
Shannon-Chuck does a great job. Now he'll calm it down. Not a great power play that time. I tell you what, O'Neal is making these shooters think twice. They're making maybe 3 or 4 passes where normally you make 2 or 3 because O'Neal has been so sharp in the goal. Shot clock down to 15. They'll take every bit of it away, and the penalty is only 20 seconds left. So if they eat up the whole time, 10 seconds left. Kermine in front! And what a big brush by Geary. Takes it wide right. Penalty over in 5 seconds. Can they get a shot? Comes down Buffalo with a chance. 3-on-2. Rosa can't get it clean. Air will have a shot. He takes it. He's got Rose. Stewie Aird makes the score 8-6. The penalty had just elapsed, and Aird took advantage of a defense that was a little bit disorganized. Here he comes. Disorganized defense. Aird takes a low shot, beats O'Neal. 8-6 Buffalo. Our 3rd week of action on the news for Major Indoor Lacrosse League action. Rochester at Philadelphia Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The matchup of Paul against identical twin Gary Gait, the 2 superstars in this league playing against each other for the first time in their professional life. That is next week. Right now, we've got one going for you here, 8-6. And again, it's Boston who controls the faceoff. They've had a good time tonight in the faceoff area. Talmo has been very effective.
Get in your goal. Reed, no.
Roy Condon not letting Geary talk him into any personal foul. The ball goes back to Buffalo, but there won't be a 2-minute penalty, and that's what Geary was lobbying for.
He had to fix the goal.
This year, there's a new face-off rule. If you followed our action last year, this year you cannot clamp the ball and hold it. You've got to pull it out on a draw. You notice how it's sped up the early parts of these face-offs. The ball gets into action right away. Back door shot by Squire. And now here comes Boston. Christy Lee on the Boston sideline.
Joining me is Paul Colmo, of course, the face-off specialist guy for the Blazers, but also one of the defensive guys that Coach Frazier is really kind of trying to guard you with this firewall defense. You guys have had a tough time tonight, but you...
Yeah, this is a big move for us this year. You know, we're pretty much a defensive team anyway, but we have a real strong defensive line now, and we're just pretty much unbeatable.
That's right, especially when Tom Carmine can score like that. While we're talking, we got to do more.
Those guys do that job, we'll do this job down this end.
All right, thank you very much, Paul Colmo. Great defensive guy for these Boston Blazers, Lee.
Tommy Carmine doing the leadership role on the Boston Blazers sideline. Watch Carmine come down. He'll fake. Goalie Geary to the one side. He comes back to his left, really cuts down his angle, but he knew if Geary bit on the fake, he'd have nothing but rope, and that's what he had. 8-7 the score. 8 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. The half started with a 1-goal lead for Buffalo. Each team has scored 2 goals. And I tell you what, Talmo is proud of his defense, but if O'Neal doesn't make the big saves against Tavares, Buffalo's got a 4-goal lead because Tavares has had some shots right in the face of O'Neal, but O'Neal has won every battle. Johnson, the young kid, comes in, gets wrapped up by the defense. They'll call a hold, and possession goes back to Buffalo. Fresh shot clock, 30 seconds. 7:40 left in the 3rd. Even scoring in this game. Quarter by quarter, that is, as we look at There we go by quarters. 3-3-2 for Buffalo, and Boston 3-2-2. The bad part for Boston is that they got off to a 3-0 lead and let Buffalo climb back into it. Big hit against Donovan, gives the ball back to Henry. Bear Henry off to Lau. This is the third line for the Buffalo squad. This third line had a very balanced first game. They played well last week. 4 goals by 4 different guys. They only had 1 penalty called against them. Contrast that with the first line for Buffalo last week against Philadelphia. They had 10 goals for that first line with Tavares and Veltman, but they also had 5 penalties called against them and 3 goals scored on those penalties.
Dave Robinson.
So this line is doing the job. 8-7 lead by Buffalo in the orange and black. Watch inside, knocked down by Hall. And Hall picks it up, tries to get it over to his player, and he is hit.
No foul. No foul on him. It's interference. Interference against Buffalo. No foul.
Well, boy, Hall had it all by himself to give it up to either Geary or the player on the far side, which was Henry. An interference call. Now gives it back to Boston. They've got 25 on the shot clock. Plenty of time. Into Geary. Fast break up front if he can find the man. He's got Tavares again. Here he comes. This is the 4th shot. He finds Rowe. Beautiful job in transition. Tavares went back to the well 3 or 4 times straight. This man has turned back this man, but finally Tavares, one of the league's best. Watch it start right here. Geary looks for the outlet. Right away, he looks up for Tavares. He comes up. This is a replica of last week's play between Geary and Tavares. Tavares now been beaten 3 times, but this time finds Rope. And a 2-goal lead for Buffalo. 9-7, 6:15 left. Roy Condon trying to tell the players to not put themselves into the box. Nothing stupid. Veltman, the vacuum cleaner. Hoover picks it up. He'll have a shot in close. Off O'Neill.
Walk away. Walk away. Why that? It's a hold. It's a tackle.
It's the same play we've been doing every practice.
You got the number going in?
That's 2, right?
6. Yes.
All right, so Talmo will spend 2 minutes in the box.
6 screen. Number 6 screen. Hold. 2 minutes.
So a 2-minute penalty on Talmo. Let's watch how Veltman really sets it up. He has those long arms. He switches to his left hand, and Talmo has to bring him down. The sliding defender came in there, but that hold gives him 2 minutes. And now, with a 2-goal lead, Buffalo has a chance to make it a 3-goal lead. Look at his head come right into the net. Veltman gets racked against the pipes. Those pipes are just sliding on this turf, luckily for him. In close. Accordingly goes low. He faked high, goes low. Les Bartley wants him to do just the opposite. He wants him to fake low because O'Neill likes to go low and then shoot high. Accordingly reversed that, but didn't have much effect. Oh, Veltman! And what a save! Off the foot of O'Neill. That was unbelievable. He made the save with his stick. It bounced up and hit his foot and came back out. Veltman with a great save. Kicks it down for Buffalo. Into Tavares, who could not handle it, which accordingly 1:17 left on the penalty. They have been putting shots in the face of O'Neill, but O'Neill has been huge. Hamley cannot pick it up, and here goes Boston.
Look out! 45 right. 45. The penalty is on number 6.
All right, we've got another penalty against Carmine. This save was unbelievable by this man O'Neill. He has kept them in the game. It could be a 7-goal lead for Buffalo if it's not for saves like this. Veltman fakes him, comes now for the rope, the open area. O'Neill knows he has to go, look, off his hand, off his belly, off his foot. Unbelievable. The foot was just lucky, but the 2 body saves were absolutely spectacular. He is lunging himself in front of these shots, and O'Neill has kept his team within 2. If he doesn't make acrobatic saves, Buffalo has a 5-goal lead easily. We'll be back in just a moment with the rest of the third quarter. 5 minutes left. Buffalo leads by 2.
We're not going to be the highest scoring team in the league. I'm going to be happy if we can get upwards of 12 goals a game, 10 to 12 goals. So therefore, it's important that Marty O'Neill, and defensively, we play extremely aggressive, and Marty really has to step up.
Here's the big save by O'Neal. Watch this, one fake. Now O'Neal has to go to the right. He makes the body save. It comes back up, hits his foot. What a big night for Marty O'Neal. Keeps his team to within 2 goals, 9-7, but it's a power play, 5-on-3 for Buffalo. 2-minute advantage back towards Courtney. He makes 2 fakes, and O'Neal makes the big save. Well, they had a chance to move O'Neal around, but they didn't waste much time getting a shot off that O'Neal just gobbled up. Again, he comes up huge. They still have a 2-man advantage. 52 seconds left on the Talmo penalty, and Carmine's in for another 140. Veltman will trigger this thing. Here comes Hanley. Now they're moving it with transition. Tavares cannot handle it. Cataldo goes down and digs it out. Tavares has had a tough time handling the ball, and that'll happen when a goalie absolutely turns away everything you shoot. You start thinking too much, don't handle the ball well. Hanley, one fake, he positions the shot, and another big save by, you guessed it, O'Neal. Time down, it was a 5-on-3, but Veltman was way up so high that Buffalo was working a 4-on-3. Didn't work for them. It's an odd choice for Buffalo, but sometimes for 5-on-3, they elect to pull a guy out and go 4-on-3. They feel like they get good separation, less confusion. It didn't work there. Now Talmo's back on the field. Carmine still in for 45. Condon barks out some order. Still in the diamond. Here comes a shot right into the chest by Rich Kilgore. I tell you, the shot selection for Buffalo has not been great on these power plays. They have a chance to get another goal, and they really haven't moved the ball well. 5-on-3, they elected not to move it that much. You really can't stop the ball movement, 5-on-3. Buffalo taking some quick shots. They still have 30 seconds left to get off a good shot on the great goalie O'Neal. Hanley to Richie Kilgore. Darius Kilgore's brother normally plays there. He's injured. In close, they've got Tavares with goal number 10. O'Neal can't do it all. That time Tavares just crashed into the cylinder. Tavares and Veltman changed spots on this time. Look at Tavares. He came into where Veltman normally was, started high, came into the cylinder. Probably created a little confusion. Then watch him get inside the diamond. He'll get inside the diamond right in front of the 18 square feet and beats O'Neal. Well, Tavares is starting like he's got a hat trick. He could have had 3 more, but was a exceptional save of Marty O'Neal.
Walk away, he got a 15 on a takedown. Come on, he has the ball. Yeah, I know. Green has the ball, that's why. 15 on a takedown, Green ball here. 15, hold.
All right, Batley gets 2 minutes in the box. I don't know if he even knows it yet.
15 black.
Watch the young kid Batley to the left of the screen. He'll come in there against Randy Frazier. He's going to hold him, wrap him up, and pull him down. Wow. Boards were right there, but I tell you what, that was not as flagrant a hole. You'll see a lot of flagrant holes in this league. That wasn't too bad. He was checking from behind. 2 penalties on Batley so far. The young kid's got to watch. He doesn't hurt his team. 5 against 4. Buffalo is great at scoring short-handed. They did it to open up the second half. Let's see if Buffalo can get it. Dowling right into the chest protector. But now back to Dowling. He gets a loose ball. Blanchard gets a loose ball. 5-on-4 still. Fresh shot clock. Blanchard right in the face of Geary. Here comes Veltman all alone against Carmine. Up front is Rosa. Big save by O'Neal. He had the sweeping right hand to knock it away. Veltman with those long arms gets the loose ball into Aaron. Stewie Air tries to get it to Rosa. Aaron had a great chance for a shot. He was right in front of the net. Let's try to give it to Rosa. We talked about the propensity of Buffalo to get short-handed goals. They opened up this half that way. Big save by O'Neal to push it back. Still a minute left on a penalty. Timeout called by Frazier. He doesn't want to lose it. Frazier is going to call his troops over and get him to take a good shot on this power play. He needs a goal now. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, Boston will have the power play. It's been all O'Neal with those kind of saves. We'll be back for the third quarter. 3-goal lead for Buffalo. Power play for the Blazers. Carmine up top. Blanchard, they need this one big time. Frazier called a play. He called a timeout. And it's all Frazier. Frazier calls a timeout. His son Randy cranks it up and beats Geary. They're back to within 2. played well. At that time, the offense, the 5-on-4 came in. Watch how they keep pushing it in. Nobody picks him up. He pushes it in, and a rocket shot takes the near pipe, and that brings it back to a 10-8 score. Second goal tonight for Randy Frazier, who had 4 goals last week against Baltimore. 2 of those on a power play. He gets a power play goal right there. Face off from Calmo to Francis. 2-on-1, and off the foot of Geary. Anytime you get a 2-on-1, you got to give it up because Geary has to respect the guy with the ball. That time Boston does not give it up, and Geary makes the big foot save. Teams at even strength 5-on-5. Laub in front, and a defensive check by Sebastian. The defensive line is in there for Boston. Shots this quarter way in favor of Buffalo, 17-8. In the first quarter, again, it was Boston who really controlled the tempo and the offense. They had a 3-0 lead. It got to be 3-3 at the end of the first quarter. Now in front, shot saved by Geary with the wingspan coming up and brushing it aside. Paul, he has somebody in front. No, he gives up to Henry up front. Bear, Henry looking in the middle, back door. Off of the chest protection, brushed away by O'Neal. Paul is hammered by Dowling, but the push call will go against Dowling. Frazier doesn't like it. It was a good call. Condon was right there. Loose ball push. Watch Dowling use the push here. He comes up, checks, and then pushes. If he just checks, he gets the ball. The push gives possession back to Buffalo. No goal, crease violation. Buffalo again putting pressure on O'Neal, but he looks like he will be able to go the distance. Such a critical position, that goal, and O'Neal in there. Their backup position not as strong as first stringer O'Neal. O'Neal picking up some garbage down at his end. Referee's resetting. Cronin will inbound. 47 seconds left in the third quarter. O'Neal playing an exceptional game. Geary, very good himself. He has been very strong in the net for Buffalo.
8 seconds, new shot clock.
All right, Roy Condon saying add 8 seconds, new shot clock.
55 seconds. 55 seconds.
Condon has a good grip on the scorekeeper here. He wants to get the clock back to 55. It's a 47-8 right now, under a minute. And Condon wants to adjust it back to 55 because they did not inbound the ball. They did not blow the whistle. Les Bartley on the sideline. There's the Blazer bench. Right there, Stevens looking tough. Christy Lee, you're down there. It must be intense on the Boston sideline.
It is definitely intense down here, Lee. In fact, right after that last Ted Dowling push, they're all yelling no penalties. We cannot have any more penalties. You guys got to keep your heads cool. We got to play our game and not get into any, fighting maybe. So look for maybe some Blazer control.
Here comes a loose ball situation, normally controlled by Buffalo in this league, but this time tonight, it's been loose balls controlled by the Blazers. Cronin, the young kid, gets hammered by Tavares. Loose ball, and we'll get a push.
We go that way.
Oh, push called on Boston. Buffalo gets it. Feltman goes over and picks it up right away. He wants to get it back in, gives it up to Richie Kilgore. His brother Darius hurt his knee last week. Kilgore still holds it. Now Cordingley way out front, in close to Bell Bend. Oh, he had a shot. He gives it back to Cordingley. Cordingley off the foot of O'Neal. O'Neal does like to drop down low, but he is so good at guessing where the shot's going to come. Great instincts, great reflexes. O'Neal, the backbone of that defense. Shot clock, not a factor as the third quarter ends. So, Buffalo came in with a 1-goal lead. They leave the third quarter with a 2-goal lead. We'll be back for the final stanza in just a moment. Don't miss the 1995 Dodge AHL All-Star Game. It's this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Deuce. AHL All-Star Hockey this Tuesday. Right now, we've got the fourth quarter starting from the Boston Garden. Major indoor lacrosse. The Bandits versus the Blazers here at the historic Boston Garden. The last year they'll use the famous home of the Celtics. Boston has controlled the faceoffs throughout this game by a pretty impressive margin. Stevens gets this one off the draw from Talmo. This is the defensive line that Frazier puts in, they get the face-off, but that's the liability. The liability is they don't control the ball. Look at the stats for the third quarter. A lot more even. Shots way in favor of the Buffalo team, but the face-off well in the favor of Boston. But again, if you face off, you win in that face-off, you better get some good shots, and Boston's having a little trouble getting the defensive guys off and the offensive guys on. Shot and a goal! They've got rope. It's a one-goal game. Carmine's a big leader for this team as they come down. Watch it go way out in front, and the left-hander takes it from right in front. Now it'll bounce back out. Carmine takes it here. Watch the bounce shot right to the back door side, and he's got rope. One-goal game, 10-9. Again, Boston controlling the face-offs, and that is so critical, as you can imagine, late in the game. You get the possession, you get the shots, and of course, that leads to the goal. Blazers have outscored the Bandits in the second half of both games last year. As a matter of fact, the fourth quarter was Boston's best quarter in the first game of this season last week, and it was Buffalo's worst quarter. So, using those numbers, Condon wants a reset shot clock. Use those numbers. Boston's got a good chance to win this one. Rosa now will reset for Buffalo. Ron Frazier feels that his team is athletic enough to run four quarters with anybody. The numbers prove him right. This is Batley, the young kid, 20 seconds left in the shot clock. He's not moving it very much. He's looking for that power move against Sebastian. The defensive line is in there for Boston, and Sebastian just goes in from behind. He'll get caught for the push. Well, he could have pushed him as hard as he wanted. He wasn't going anywhere. He was right on the boards. Kind of a bad move for Jack taking the penalty when he really had the loose ball accomplished. All right. Moving pick called against Buffalo. Blazer now going back on the offense, the Blazers are. One-goal lead, 13:20 left in the game. As Dowling brings it down. Frazier wants to use Dowling pretty much exclusively as an offensive player, so he's running him off the field for defense. They've got call on it several times tonight, but it's worked more effectively than not. It's worked well. Robinson coming across, sweeping, looking backdoor to Tanchuk. The pick and roll. Trap. Friday tap comes in. He's in front, and a check from the backside. Ball goes high. Wait a minute. They're calling it off the stick of Buffalo. Watch the old 360 come in. Inside, great shot with the stick check from behind. No, it just went off the end of a stick. Nobody even checked it. That was a bad call. Nobody checked that ball. Went way in the stands, but they gave it back to Boston. Roy Condon, almost perfect every time in the referee's situation. Called that one out of bounds. Now he'll take charge here with 12:45 left. Bartley in control on the sideline, and that's his M.O. He likes a very controlled bench sideline. Boston inbounds, a fresh shot clock. Down by one. This is their quarter. That's what they feel like. If they're close here, they can go ahead and take it home. Moving pick. Ball goes back to Buffalo. Last week against Baltimore, they scored the first 3 goals in the fourth quarter. Here comes Batley on O'Neal. He tries to go to the far corner, and a push called on Francis gives it back to Buffalo. Well, Batley didn't make any fakes on O'Neal, and I don't know how you're going to beat the guy without making any fakes. O'Neal has been so strong in the goal. A little bit of pushing and shoving for Batley, and he has been a sensational rookie. Ron Frazier, a lot of young kids on his team as well. A new face on the Blazers squad with a lot of new people. Hanley, haven't heard from him much tonight. He's favoring that knee that he had operated on in the offseason. Lau. We're down to Brian Hall. Francis is defending him. Big size mismatch there. Francis is huge compared to Hall. Oh, the pick and roll. They call a little action, a little movement, and the check from behind by Stevens. Puts the ball on the ground, and O'Neal picks it up. Shot clock is down to 3. Hall had just a sliver of a chance to shoot, didn't get it off. Good defense by Boston. Now dump it down. Tanchuk tried to find somebody coming out of the box. Dowling probably, but Dowling wasn't there. And then another bad pass by Buffalo. Bad passes both sides. Boston now with 11:35 left. They're down by 1. Two pretty sloppy offensive sets by each team. Cronin now comes in as they try to open up something on the three-man side. Knocked down by the defense of Cochran. Ball goes up to Cordingley. Cordingley has a 1-against-1 defender, but he can't get it cleanly. Cannot pick it up. Finally does, and he's hammered by Donovan. Clean hit, back door. Here comes O'Neal. The net is open. The net is wide open. Push call against O'Neal, I believe, but great heady play. Donovan now setting up for the defense. Watch O'Neal come out of the net. The ball is loose out front. They flip it back out. Now O'Neal elects to come out. See him charging out, and there's the push. He knew he had to get the ball back down because nobody was in the net. It started right here. Cordingley got hammered by Donovan. Good clean hit, although they called it clean, but anything above the shoulders is technically illegal. That shot was a little too high. O'Neal taping himself up for the final 11 minutes. It's a one-goal game in favor of Buffalo. A lot of time left.
Welcome back to the Boston Garden. Christy Lee and Leif Elsmo. I'm on the Buffalo Bandits bench. They lead by 1, and we are running out of time here in the fourth quarter. Les Bartley in that last time out told his team, well, first of all, they set up a secret play. We'll have to watch, see if they go left. He also said, we have got to watch Boston's bench. They're constantly getting caught by that defense, Leif, of them coming in and off of the bench all the time. Les Bartley told his players, gotta watch it.
Well, the play was a good one. Beltman had a shot. It came off the top of the iron, off the top of the pipe. And they still can't get one on O'Neal. So no goal, and Boston will have the offensive push going with 10:42 left. Ball loose up front. Can they get it back? No. Stevens comes in. They can't find it. Cordingley trying to dig it out to Rich Kilgore against the boards. Over to O'Neal. Now he'll get the transition going. He goes away from the benches, looks for Robinson. But Robinson defense back there by Tavares. 2 shots apiece. Not much offense this quarter. Geary makes a big save on Schmitz. And now he'll look for the outlet. He's looking up for Tavares. He can't find him. It is over top of the stick. Now he picks it up loose. He'll launch himself in. He's got road. Big shot by Tavares. That is really a trademark shot by Johnny T. This guy was MVP 3 of the last 4 times they beat. Look at the clearing pass by Geary. Goes too high, but Tavares knows it'll come out hard. Now he knows he has to launch himself all the way in. He holds it as long as he can and then beats O'Neal. He gave him a good fake before he launched himself to try to freeze O'Neal and then get himself in the air. The key when you get yourself in the air is to hold it as long as you can and then go ahead and find that open net. He did it beautifully. A 2-goal lead for Buffalo. Here's a chance for a 3-goal lead, and it goes wide. Batley couldn't find it. That one by Ciccone off of O'Neal. O'Neal has played so well in the goal, but Buffalo continues to apply pressure. Leif and Christie on the deuce. We are in the fourth quarter of our second week of ESPN2 Action Major Indoor Lacrosse League. Here we are at the famed Boston Garden. Parquet's up, AstroTurf is down. Crunch time. Frazier tries to brush it in from Donovan. Up front, wide open, Carmine. Carmine pushes it in front. Well, he had a good chance to shoot, but he didn't do it. We talked about the heroes in front of this game, and I'll tell you what, it's panned out that way. Tavares, of course, playing a big game, a hat trick plus a lot of shots in the face of O'Neal. He's been testing him all night, but Cordingley has come up with a very strong game. And last year, that meant that Buffalo would win against this Boston team. Frazier off to the fast break. Hamley trying to play defense on the trailing player, Carmine. Boston has been getting caught a little bit, as Christie mentioned, on that transition defense offense. Here comes Henry. Bear can't get it. Open net wide. Whoa, it was wide open.
Hold, please.
Calling a loose ball hold against Buffalo. Look at Geary. He is playing a sensational game of his own. On the other end is O'Neal, but watch Geary come out. Makes the hit just at the right moment. It was an open net, but Geary's hit just took it wide. Shot clock down to 20. Plenty of time. A whistling low shot hits Dowling, I believe. Now back to Geary from Bear Henry. Up to Johnson. Johnson's got Hamley to his right. He's got Hall to his left. Hall takes it into Hamley. Hamley can't get it on goal. Hamley gets rocked into the boards. He may be hurt. Hamley down still, getting it slowly. Here comes Boston. Tap. Rodney Tap from British Columbia. A new Canadian. Shot against Geary. He makes the save on Dowling. Up top, Cannon Chuck wheels right into the stick of Veltman. Here comes Veltman. Great defensive play now. He's got Cornely. Cornely has it one-on-one. Big arm save by O'Neill. Oh, O'Neill has been tough on the one-on-one situation. 7:36 left. 2-goal lead by Buffalo in the orange and black. Cornely now has had a good game in front. Watch out. Shot by Stuier in front. Back door. Whoa. O'Neill has been unconscious. He has been so good. Watch out, O'Neill. Don't get in trouble. Robinson into a little bit of a push and shove with Richie Kilgore. And Kilgore walks back to O'Neill again. I tell you what, you put a highlight film together on just O'Neill's save. Unbelievable. This should have been a goal. They come in close. Aird goes back door. Now fake. 1, 2, 3 fakes, and O'Neill still makes the save on Richie Kilgore. Boston now with the ball. 2-goal lead, a very slim lead in the indoor league. You can make up 3 goals, folks, in a minute or so. It's not very hard to do. It's all offense. Shot against Geary. He's there for the 5-hole save. Veltman with the important loose ball. Back to Tavares, the leader. Tavares sees Kilgore up front. Tavares looking for help, gives it to the trailing Air. Tavares wanted to get a call against Donovan. His helmet was ripped off. Shot clock continues to move. It's down to 13. I don't know if Air knows that the shot clock down to 10. Shot clock down to 7. They're not even going to get a shot off. Fresh legs are in, and they didn't really care. I think they wanted to get a fresh line on the floor. And they do. But they took away any kind of shot possibility. Here comes Frazier. Francis in, Dowling out of the box. He's got the fast break. He's an offensive player. It'll be a delayed call against Buffalo.
How can you call to somebody that's stuck in calling? Give me the ball. Look at the score. Give me the ball. I know. Look at the score. Go. 19. 19. You guys are going. Wait. The 13. I thought it was 19. Was it 13? 13. 13.
Tony's trying to find the right number, but it was a hold call on Dowling. I tell you what, Boston has done so well today is they've been squirting Dowling out of the top of the box. He doesn't play defense.
1-3. Oh.
All right, you got the hold call on Rosa. Rosa, I'm not sure it was Rosa, but nevertheless, it was a hold on Dowling. And Dowling's been flying out of the box. What they've been doing is taking one of his defensive specialists, squirting him in one door, and he comes flying out the other. Very fresh because he's not playing any defense. 5-on-4. Buffalo still in the box. 6 minutes left. 2-minute penalty now on Buffalo. 2 minutes. Big Geary save with his foot. 2-goal lead for Buffalo, but now they're down by 1 player. Frazier in close! He's got rope! You can't fault Geary for this one. Watch the big stick fake. Buffalo bites on this. He makes the big stick fake, pulls the stick, goes inside of Tavares, and wide open. Once he gets around Tavares, he is right in the cylinder. Tavares gave up the body position, and now it's a 1-goal game. Here goes Boston. Here comes Stevens. Big body save.
Houston! Green here! Houston! Green!
Frazier having a big night. 3-goal hat trick for him. And Carmine with yet another assist. He's got 5 on the night. Another save for Geary. And watch out, here comes fast break. Hall, if he can collect it. He's got it. Hall down and trying to play against him. Another save by O'Neill. O'Neill's been exceptional. He's made so many point-blank saves. That time he makes another one. He makes it look easy. 5 minutes left. 1-goal lead for Buffalo. Boston really cranking up the offense. Shannon Chuck brings it down. Rodney the Canadian. New acquisition for Frazier.
7-15.
Batley looks like he might be hurt. He's going to be sent to the box. Batley goes in the box. So does Robinson. They'll each get 2 minutes. Seems to be all even. It could go either way. We've got 5 minutes left. A 1-goal lead by Buffalo. Buffalo with a 1-goal lead. Down to the final 4 minutes, 51 seconds, leaving Christie on the deuce. And this one can go either way. Boston broke Buffalo's 22-game win streak last year in Buffalo. That was a sting that this team doesn't forget. But Buffalo knows that Boston can beat them, and now Carmine starts the offense for Boston. It's 4 against 4. Each team has a man in the penalty box. This is Donovan against Stuier. Donovan comes up high. Back to Blanchard. He can't pick it up cleanly. Rosa knocks him down, but he can't get the ball out of the stick. Blanchard has Carmine. Tries to get it down low to Frazier. Frazier looks for Carmine up front. Finds him. A lot of room, but blocked off of Rosa's body. Shot clock violation. Christie on the sideline.
Thank you very much, Leaf. Well, we've got a little over 4 minutes, and the strategy here by the Buffalo Bandits up by 1 goal is, of course, obviously to use as much time as possible. So watch them use all 30 seconds in their possession, unless they lose the ball like right there.
Fast break set up, and now it's a 2-on-2. Donovan tries no angle on the shot. He kept the right hand. Really, literally no angle. It bounces off of Geary. Accordingly, sees Tavares. Tavares, he's got one man to beat. He'll come down. He's got a trailing player. Accordingly, he waits for the trailing player. Gives it accordingly, and a bounce shot off the pipe. Whoa, off the iron. Accordingly, literally beat O'Neal, but he couldn't beat the iron. Beautifully set up by Tavares on the fast break. Tavares waited for the trailing player accordingly. Went 2-on-1 with the defender. Accordingly, bounces it off the iron. Still a 1-goal lead for Buffalo. 3:28 left in the game. Carmine, the team leader, the great assist man, tries to get into Dowling. Maybe tries too hard to get it in tight to Dowling. Dowling's going to launch himself. He does. A glove save by Geary. Geary has been exceptional tonight. Tavares. Both teams extremely tired. They have given it their all tonight. 3 minutes left as they look at the clock. Tavares trying to get his team to secure the lead with 1 more goal. Brian Hall. This is the third line for Buffalo. Whoa, tried to bounce it to Laub. Laub couldn't pick it up. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Geary will come out. Laub slips down. Geary will just, whoa, his pocket brings the ball straight down. All right, shot clock violation. Here is Boston putting it back in play. 2:42 left. Every shot critical now. Not much time left. Every possession so key. Here comes Cronin, Jed Cronin. Off to Blanchard. Another one of the offensive guys for Frazier. Blanchard, Dowling, 2 of the big offensive studs for the Blazers. Up top, tries to get to Cronin. The ball loose now. Here comes Henry. Henry cannot get out of the defensive check. Johnston hammered from behind. It'll be Buffalo ball, I believe. Johnston now the game clock down to 2:12. Whoa! This one can go to either team. This team from Boston. If you look at Stevens on the edge of their seats, they want 1 more shot to tie it up. Johnston now moving in. Not many good shots for Buffalo. That one goes wide, hits the net from behind. No goal. Shot clock was down to about 13. I'll tell you what, the last couple times down, Buffalo has had their 3rd line in there. Not their best offensive line. A lot of times you can't plan for these things. Frazier takes a rocket from out front, and the ball missed by Laub. Donovan picks it up. Ciccone tries to get it, but no, it's loose. Push call against Boston. With 1:32 left, that is critical.
Right here.
Let's see if Bartley calls a timeout. He's got 1 left. He's got 1 minute and 30 left in the game. If they hold the ball the whole way, it'll leave Boston with 1 minute left. Tavares says, come on out, Geary, and help me. They're really trying to take time off the clock. Now, either team, Buffalo wants to go ahead and get this to a 2-goal game. Shot clock down to 7, down to 6. Beltman up front. Oh, they couldn't pick it up cleanly. O'Neal looks for the outlet. He finds Frazier. Frazier down. Down. Nobody in front. Down. Buffalo says his foot was in the crease. I'll tell you, Dowling's got it pretty easy. All Dowling does is squirt out of the box. Look at, he comes off the box, gets a fast break almost every time. Comes in, steps on the line, and scores from the other side of Geary. When you step on the line, you're in the crease, folks. This should have been called no goal, but they gave it to him. Tough to see by the refs. That ref check didn't stop him. That foot was in the crease. This should have been called off, no goal. It's a lot of fast action. The referees missed it. There it is, foot on the line. And the toe's actually in the cylinder, or in the crease area. That should have been disallowed, but they gave it to Boston. Now it's a tie game. Next goal could win it. 30 seconds left in the game. Buffalo tries to get one shot. They've got one now. Beltman up to Tavares. This is the guy that can win it for you. Timeout called by Buffalo. They've got 19 seconds, 20 seconds basically, 19.7 left on the game. 11 all. The benches all have to call critical plays defensively for Boston, offensively for Buffalo. Let's go to the benches. Like Bartley wants to pull Geary with 8 seconds left. He's going to wait to 8 seconds, then pull Geary and put 6 players on the field. So it's critical with Geary coming out. If Boston gets it, they're going to have an open net to shoot at. Obviously, they've got their best horses in there. They've mixed up this first line now. It's basically their power play unit in the game for Buffalo. Accordingly, Hamlin, Tavares, Beltman, and Rich Kilgore. Aird will be the first man off the sideline playing defense. And Aird is the guy who's on the bench right now because this is basically their extra man play out here. They've got their 5 best offensive players. Getting ready to fire this ball in play. 20 seconds left. Let's see what they call. Beltman triggers it. The best defenders are out there for Frazier. Gives it to Cordingley, and he's going against Francis, the big, tough defender. Here comes Beltman. 8 seconds left. Geary goes. Geary's going out. Here comes Richie Kilgore. They're going to give it over to Batley. Batley's the one that comes in. Now it's an extra man, basically, for Buffalo. Oh, Batley has a bad pass and a swing shot by Richie Kilgore. That's the end of regulation. It's OT in Boston. We'll be back with the overtime period. It's all tied at 11. It's sudden death when we come back. Go Braves! Game is tied at 11, and it was tied on this play. Dowling's been coming out of the box on fast breaks all night. He's been all offense. Now watch his left foot. He comes in. If he steps on that line, he's in the crease. There it is. He is in the crease. This goal that tied it up should have been called no goal. But obviously the game is played at a fast pace. The referees do a great job. They happen to miss that one. It's all tied at 11. Doesn't matter now. Whoever scores the next goal wins the game. It's sudden death. Dowling has 4 on the night, but I'll tell you what, a lot of guys in this league would like to have his job. He doesn't have to play any defense. All he does is go in there, squirt out of the box. They give him the ball. He takes a shot. Buffalo, control. Oh, he's hammered in there. That could be a 2-minute penalty. This is critical. Oh, how can they give a loose ball hold? Tavares had possession. They call it a loose ball hold. Anyway, no penalty. Tried to get it in close. Easy save for O'Neal. Sudden death, folks. Next goal wins this one. Boston with a chance to prove to Buffalo that, yes, they can play them on an even field. This would also put Boston 2-0 on the year. It would make Buffalo 1-1 in the early season. Blanchard now sets up. Watch out against O'Neal. No, it's against Geary, but in the crease is the violation. Geary was locked up for the one-on-one. Back to Tavares. Les Bartley doesn't want to take Jonathan Tavares off the field. Tavares is a great fast break player. He's a great offensive player. But now he comes off and gives the ball to his new line. Illegal pick the call again. Circle possession back to Boston. Geary and O'Neal have gone the whole way for their respective teams. And I'll tell you what, carrying a lot of equipment, losing a lot of water, that is a big night in the goal. These goalies are tired. How much longer can they do it? 3:38 left in the first overtime period. 14 on the shot clock. Frazier wants to clear out. They're going to give it down to Carmine. Carmine fakes right, goes in, and he gets nailed. Whoa, he got hammered. Watch out, fast break to Johnson. Johnson's got Hall. Johnson, Hall on Blanchard. Hall has it. Back to Johnson. No, takes the shot off the pipe. Off the pipe. Now watch out, they'll reset. No, they give it back to Boston. Bandits, I'm sorry. Reset that. Saved by O'Neal. Ball goes out.
I don't care,
from
Ted.
Boston.
You won't play unless you
And
get
it'll
over
be
here.
Buffalo resetting. Hornington's had a big night. He's checked from behind. Hold call. Rich Kilgore now resets. They give it to Johnny Tavares. This is the guy you want to have the ball when you need a goal to win. Tavares comes in. Illegal pick called on Veltman. Tavares was getting set to try the game-winning shot. Here comes Carmine. Dowling is in, tries to pick and roll with Carmine. Carmine can win it. He's got it. It's all over. Well, this team is starting to believe that they may be one of the best in the Major Indoor Lacrosse League this year. 4-4 last year, but one of the biggest wins was against Buffalo. That's when they started believing. Carmine makes it all happen. The defense not close enough. He comes in, takes that left-handed crank, and beats Geary. Carmine, normally a feeder. The defense thinking he's going to feed. Stu Aird gives him a lot of room, and Aird gave him the left-handed shot. Frazier loves it. Boston wins it in OT by 1, 12-11.
Tonight's Major Indoor Lacrosse League Game of the Week on ESPN2 has been brought to you by Bud Light. Remember, Boston, make it a Bud Light. And by Brine, the first name in lacrosse equipment and apparel. Back at the Boston Garden, unbelievable. They don't get much better than this, folks. We have the Boston Blazers beating the Buffalo Bandits in sudden death overtime, 12-11 your final. This guy right here in goal for the Blazers, Marty O'Neal, our player of the game. Marty, awesome game for you, 45 saves, and obviously things are working well for this Blazer team.
Yeah, 2-0. Defense is playing tough. That's what we set out to do. We've got a whole concept of team defense, and I just finished the job off.
How do you feel? You went that whole game, and it's got to be draining.
Well, Leafs big on us losing fluid, but believe me, when we play in the summer in Canada in the 90-degree weather in the indoor arenas, it's a lot tougher than this, so it's not too bad, you know. It's tiring.
Congratulations, Marty. You had a great game, a lot of great saves, and we'll be seeing you again right here on the Deuce. That's about it for us down here. Leaf, your final thoughts on this fabulous game.
Well, it was everything Ron Frazier thought it would be. He said if his team holds this team to 12 or less, then Boston would win, and they did. The final score, 12-11, they win it. Don't forget, next up, Irish football, the Gaelic Games, coming up on the Deuce. See you next week, everybody.